Welcome to California in Focus. I'm Keegan Kernodle. California Board of Parole Hearings ordered the release of convicted child murderer Josue Herrera, who was found to have beaten his girlfriend's 2-year-old son to death. With more on this is our California reporter, Kenneth Schrupp. Now, Kenneth, we have two different stories here about very similar things. Let's get into it. Can you tell us more about this?
Yes. Let's first talk about Herrera, who was convicted of beating his girlfriend's son to death. The baby boy was beaten so badly that both of his retinas were detached and he had major hemorrhaging. Many people have questioned the governor's parole board for this decision. The parole board has claimed that Herrera has shown remorse and is no longer a risk to public safety because he's taken some classes in prison to address his anger issues, his drug and alcohol issues, and is also taking classes to better understand his criminality. The California parole board said that Herrera was not found to have violated rules in prison, but the district attorney's office that convicted Herrera has come out against this early release and painted a very different picture of Herrera and his conduct in prison. Here is a few words from the district attorney's office. During the hearing, Herrera made statements that he was often abusive to women, as well as all of the children who were around him, including the victim, his own children, and his sister's children. Although he did not have any formal prison reprimands, he violated the rules of the prison daily with minor violations. He was involved in a restitution avoidance scam by putting or receiving funds onto his books for people that owed restitution to victims, in which he received a commission. Herrera admitted that he understood that it could affect the restitution that was due to the victims of crimes. What this means is that in order to reduce the amount of money that criminals had to pay back to their victims, he would take the money on their behalf, which would lower, I suppose, their income, so that they would owe less in terms of income as a percentage of restitution payments. At least that's my assumption from reading this. Understandably, some people are very upset with this. The assemblyman who represents the area, Tom Lackey, whose district includes Kern County, really noted that it might not really be fair for this child who never had a second chance for Herrera to go free. Lackey said, "Only in California does criminal justice reform mean setting free a monster who shattered a toddler's skull, left him blind, bleeding, and bruised, and lied about it 3 times. Herrera tortured a 2-year-old to death. The state gave him a second chance. That child never got one." But this isn't really the end of the California parole issues that we've had this week.
There's similarities with your other article. Another California man who was convicted of killing 2 Southern California teens. Can you tell us more about that one as well?
Yes. One individual was also granted parole. He's set to be released in July of this year. Oscar Eduardo Ortega Anguiano was convicted of killing 2 Southern California teens while he was drunk, high, and speeding over 100 miles per hour. He's going to be released 3 years into his 10-year sentence for manslaughter.
Now, you mentioned a little bit on Herrera that they said that he'd shown remorse, but why is it that they're releasing these? Have they said?
Well, California state policy is to reduce the prison population as much as possible in order to save money. But the state budget has grown by $100 billion in just the last few years. So I'm not so sure about the state wanting to save money. And economic estimates on the cost of crime beyond the actual destruction caused by the crimes themselves is very high. So the economic benefit of letting serial criminals back onto the streets, compared to some small amount of money saved on a per prisoner cost, does not seem to make economic sense. This could be part of a broader push to reduce incarceration in the state because of a feeling that it's unfair to criminals for them to have to be in prison.
I see. Now, part of this, there is some back and forth, I guess, or lack of work between California and, say, ICE. I know you touch on that a little bit in your article as well.
Right. So let's step back a bit and talk about this individual who is convicted of vehicular manslaughter of 2 Californians. This individual had a lengthy rap sheet. This includes multiple felony convictions, time in state prison, multiple convictions for driving without a license. He's illegally entered this country multiple times. And he's been deported twice. His other convictions include burglary in 2005, vehicle theft in 2007, and battery on a spouse with kidnapping in 2014. So his conviction in 2022 for killing these 2 Californians is part of a longer pattern. And the question of why he's still in the state and was still allowed to conduct these crimes is really a reflection of the state's sanctuary policies that prohibit a lot of cooperation with federal immigration officials. California often simply doesn't comply with detainers from ICE. And again, the laws sometimes prevent them from notifying ICE of the imminent release of illegal immigrant convicts. But in this case, though, the rapid coverage at a national level has led to statements from federal immigration officials and the U.S. attorney. The newly appointed U.S. attorney for the area, Bill Asaley, has said that he is going to be prosecuting Ortega Anguiano under federal felony charges that could put him in prison for up to 20 years. A detainer has been placed by ICE, and the governor has said that he is going to comply with that detainer.
I see. So in the federal government stepping in, essentially, with this.
This is true. But what's notable is that the governor decided to blame the district attorney who convicted Ortega Anguiano, saying that there was a plea deal that allowed him to get away with this lighter sentence of 10 years for the deaths of these 2 teens who burned alive in the resulting accident. However, the district attorney representing Orange County, where this happened, has confirmed that this is actually not the case, which has led to some confusion in the state communications department.
I see. Well, thank you for covering this. I'm sure we'll keep up on it in any further developments that may arise. This has been California in Focus. Listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com.